Hi. Today we're going to be making hot water pie crust, okay? So we have 4 ingredients: shortening, salt, very hot water, and flour. I have butter and salt in my bowl right now. You guys are going to be using shortening because it gives us a really flaky crust. I just have butter right now. Okay, so you're going to have a glass bowl in your electric mixer. I have a fourth teaspoon or half a teaspoon of salt in here and half a cup of butter. So I'm gonna mix it until it's creamy. Okay. All right, then the next step says to pour hot water and blend again. So you see I'm using my liquid measuring cup, your glass one. You're just going to microwave your water so that it's super hot. You can do it for about a minute, okay? Now I'm gonna pour it into my mixture. Okay, it's gonna melt my butter a little bit. And then I mix it again until it's blended, okay? You wanna get all the butter chunks out. Woo! I'm splattering a little bit. That's gonna happen, just be careful, okay? Okay, so now I've got butter on the edges that I need to get in, but if I had used my electric mixer to try to get them, it would have splattered everywhere. So you gotta be careful with that. Okay, I'm gonna keep mixing because you still see my big butter chunks. Man, that looks a lot creamier than last time, huh?
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, next we're gonna stir in our flour and use a mixing spoon. Now, some of you are gonna have spatulas and some of you are not. So I would use your spatula, but I'm just gonna pour my flour in gradually. That means a little bit at a time and stir it. You can have one person stirring and one person adding the flour, right? So let's see it. This dough might need more water because it's already feeling like it's might be too dry, but we'll see at the end. You know, with baking, it all depends on the temperature of things and what the air is like and the climate and all that jazz. So you sometimes have to experiment, which is okay. All right, so we're gonna keep mixing. Normally at home, I would use a food processor to make this, but we're gonna use an electric mixer this time because I think more people have one of those. Okay, so if it's not forming a ball and your mixing spoon's not working, you can also use your hands, okay? So it just might get on you a little bit more. But it's forming a ball, or it will. It's clumping together, which is a good thing, okay? Now, what we're gonna do is once it's in a ball, we're gonna roll it out so that it fits in our pie tin. It's gonna end up looking like this guy, okay? So let's get it into a ball. Now, before we get it out of our bowl, we need to flour our surface. You don't wanna flour the counter too much because it'll make the pastry dough tough, and we want it to be nice and flaky. So I'm gonna use my measuring cup and put just a little bit on the counter and then also on our rolling pin because we don't want it to stick. You might have to flour as you go, but start with a little bit because you can always add more. Okay, so got my dough and I'm gonna roll from the center out, and you're gonna be really careful with your dough. So roll center out, and try to keep it in a good circle, okay? So that it's all even. You don't wanna try to put a rectangle in your circle pie tin. And see how my dough is starting to stick to my rolling pin? That's okay, just put it back on your dough and then use a little bit more flour on your rolling pin. Okay. So we want our dough to be about 1/8 of an inch thick, okay? Which is pretty thin. But you have to be really careful so it doesn't break. What's cool about this is because it has so much fat already from the shortening, you don't have to grease your pie tin. It's not gonna stick. It's got enough non-stick stuff. Okay. If your pie crust breaks a little bit, that's okay. You can move it around. All right. What do you think? Is that a good amount?
That's good.
Is that good? Okay, I'm gonna grab a pie tin real quick. All right, now here's the other tricky thing. You are gonna roll your pie crust onto your rolling pin. So let's see if I can do this flawlessly. All right, so we're gonna pick up our pie crust, roll it out a little bit, and then Layla, I'm gonna ask you, yep, lovely. Okay, good. So see how it laid not perfectly evenly, but pretty good. So some edges are longer than others. That's okay. You're just gonna make sure your pie fits all in there. And then you can cut off the edges and add them to other sides that you need. But remember, you wanna try to work with the dough as little as possible and make the thickness even on the whole dough, or else certain parts of your pie are gonna cook longer than others. You can also decorate your edges with a spoon, or we cut ours into long strips, but however you wanna do it to make it look pretty. Once you're done with this, you are going to cover it with saran wrap, which is right here, and you're gonna lay a piece so that it falls all the way on here. Okay, we don't want another crust to form on it. And then use an index card, label it, put it in the middle, and then you're gonna stick it in the freezer because we're going to use it on Monday or Tuesday to make the filling. All right, thank you for watching Cooking Show with Miss Larson.